Hey, Watch Dragon Metals here, Lawrence. Today I'll be fixing a print bed on the Easythreed X2 printer, which are supposedly the cheapest 3D printers there are, but they have some issues. So there's the new print bed, which I'm going to have to cut. Where's my scissors? Oh, there they are. Some tools needed, scissors, screwdriver, got some paper clips also just in case. So here is the damaged print bed, which is actually magnetic. Look. Now the magnetic ones in this size are actually quite expensive, they're about £15, something like that. Whereas this adhesive print bed, which is exactly the same material, isn't magnetic, but it just sticks on. It's like double-sided tape on this side. It's very cheap. It's about £3 as opposed to 15 for that one. So I'm gonna use that method. So there's the damage in question. It's all almost down to the inside of the base there, which is making it unlevel, which is not making for a good surface to print upon. I have been using super glue and other materials to try and fix it, but it's now too unlevel to print anything upon, so repair time. Ooh. Move that to an angle. Perfect. So I need to cut this to size. Should be simple enough. Just put it on the back like that. Try and cut straight, as I can't uncut it. This does cut quite easily, this material. Very sharp, these scissors. Print bed gets damaged like that after several hundred prints on the same spot over and over and over. I could print elsewhere on the print bed, on the sides or at the bottom or the top, but it just automatically puts it in the middle, which is the most efficient place, and you end up with damage. That's because of the 100-degree 3D printer tip touching that over and over and scraping back and forth. So there are issues. You can get around that with an aluminium bed or even glass. So stick that on the bottom now. Not mess this up. Oof. Hard to pick apart now, this double-sided layer. Oh, I've got it. So there's the double-sided sticky part. Ooh. That's my tripod falling. Need to be a bit higher, I think. There we go. And lower the tripod thing. There we go. My phone's actually quite heavy. One of the big ones. Gotta also re-level this bed, as after I stick this on it's going to be 1 millimetre too thick, which means it will be automatically unlevel. Got it. That adheres really well. High marks for that. Smooth it. Get bubbles out. Not that I can actually see a single bubble. This stuff's quite good material. Supposedly it's got good bed adhesion as well, so it's nice and sticky. So there's the repaired print bed. looks brand new. Should still fit on the bed with the magnetic bed also, so it's still now a magnetic bed. But I have to remove this. This is the print bed here. Needs to come off. And then I need to re-level it with these screws. So the entire thing is coming off. Also need to print something afterwards. Make sure it's all re-leveled. Not sure what. Pick a file once I'm done doing this. Just unscrewing the small screw caps that are on the bottom of the print bed. Very manual this part, as it uses springs and screws to achieve level surface. Pretty cheap, as cheap as you can get. No computers involved here, so analog. Makes it quite easy to use, but you've got to re-level quite often. Otherwise you end up scraping up your print bed from an unlevel surface. Trying to get the bottom bit off. Stuck. There we go. One more. And then the whole bed's going to release. Well, it should do. And now I have to turn it on and re-level the whole thing. Ooh. Right, and off we come. Yeah, that's the print bed released. It's no longer connected. I've just lost a screw. I got it. So there's 4 of these springs also that are pretty much the sole level of leveling. Funnily enough. That bag of silicant I put in the underneath the bed to absorb any moisture. Doesn't actually feel wet, which is a good thing. And that's how to take the bed off. Which I've just realised I didn't actually need to do to re-level this. Not thinking straight. But there is like hammering all of a sudden. I think my next door neighbour's doing some DIY or something. So is everyone else. But anyway, this is probably good to show how to do this in the first place. Okay, it'll slide into place nicely. It's not as difficult as I thought it would be to reassemble. They're quite simple machines for what they do and achieve. Oh, come on, there we go. There's a bit of dirt on this bed here also. Probably a good idea to get that off. So put that back on, which I didn't actually need to do. Well, it probably will achieve more level bed, taking the whole thing off and putting it back on. sort of like a factory reset, I suppose. These are actually thumb screws, but they're actually not that good at being turned by your thumb, as you can see. Which sucks. Also needs a piece of paper for leveling this, believe it or not, as the print distance between the nozzle and the bed needs to be the thickness, the exact thickness of a piece of paper, which is about 0.2 millimeters, maybe, something like that. So unintendedly, but I always had to take the print bed off to prepare it for re-leveling. Actually looks a bit more level already, to be fair. As I said, a good idea. That one's a bit tight. Although it might not be. See when I turn it on. Right, hopefully this will just slide back on like it did. Yeah, looks good. The print bed looks brand new. Well, it is brand new now. So I'm going to have to turn that on. Where's the top? It's actually just 12 volt power for this. So I have to re-level it now. Resume print failed. Apparently I had a print paused. Oh dear. Can't remember that. Anyway, see what I just did? Click in that, and then go to prepare, and auto home, which is what I need to get to. But I need a piece of paper to do this. So that's not thick, that's actually too thin. Got random bill over there. That'll do nicely, even though it's all in Welsh. Welsh bills. So, just trying to get my tripod a nice angle. It'll look good on there. Nice. Auto home, click it. And put the piece of paper under. Now that'll hopefully move, and I should be able to move that piece of paper freely underneath there. If not, it's too tight. No, it's too tight, the entire thing's moving. So I have to tighten that axis, which means I have to move this base slightly, which I will do manually by clicking move axis and moving the Z axis a bit, which is the top. A bit off the bed so I can move in the first place. Now I need to tighten these under here and the screws, remember, and are now underneath these holes. So I have to use the thumb screws as they were intended. Which actually sucks. Could suppose I drill holes in there, but achieves nothing at the moment. I'll just move this bit. Don't recommend you do that manually by just pushing it. But they can actually handle that. So auto home again. Bit of filament stuck under there too. Right. Let's use the thumb screw. It's tightening. I'm using my finger to tighten it though. This nice, that's coming out freely, a little bit more. Right, there we go. You can see that's sliding underneath now. Get the piece of paper under the print head. Yeah, I know, sort of complicated. But that's what you've got to do if you haven't got a digital leveling mechanism. But I still got to do every other corner. So, let's move the bed. See that? Now all the way to that corner. You have to do each corner. Yeah, that's way too tight, look at that. The whole printer's moving. Tighten the thumb screw again. No, not that torture thing. Yeah, that's almost nailed it straight away there, a little bit more. No, that was too loose. It's just sort of completely free now. A tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. Seems about right. Actually, it's a bit tight. Might just be that there's a blob of filament on the top. So a little bit more. Feels about right. Now move the bed more. X-axis this time. Just moving the top across to the other corner. Probably going to be way too tight. Right. So tighten the thumb screw. Sort of annoying this. 3D printer issues. I'm fixing them. I've printed a whole lot with this printer lately though. It's moving underneath nice. It's actually a bit thick, this paper. Same routine. We got it. Right, last corner now. Should be the y-axis, I think. Yep. Too tight also. Ooh, I can barely see that one, isn't there? The paper. Ow! These are not finger or thumb friendly, these screws. They're totally lying. Filament is sticking out, might be an issue too. Let's have a go anyway. Let's print something. Move the top now. Move it upwards a bit. Right, what should we print? Something small that won't take long. That's popular. That's the material I'm printing in. PLA, it's a type of plastic. Let's go over a key ring. Yeah, weapons, not what you think. Cats. Yeah, let's do a cat. That don't take long. It's only a small cat. Anyway, you can see the printer heating up here. That's the nozzle. Shouldn't take long this. Get a nice angle for the print before it starts. Should only take about 6 minutes. Hopefully it'll print well. We'll soon find out. These were for holding that to the bed, but I didn't actually need these paper clips. But I figured I might. That's starting to extrude under there. So take a few minutes, and then we should have a little cat key ring. There's that material there. Actually always wastes a little bit when it extrudes and gets it going, which I'm not a fan of. Since that material could obviously be used to print a small layer or something. 176 degrees now. I'm going to pinch that off. That's the material that's wasted. That happens virtually every print. Which leaves you with like a big load of that stringy filament goo. Which is obviously no good. Right. All looking good. It's a noisy machine. Yeah, that seems to be printing quite good. Oops, I hit something then, I'm not sure. Just try and get a bed level view. Kind of hard to get black PLA to show up good on a black background, which is sort of annoying since it's pretty much the main colour of PLA that's purchased is black and white, naturally. So there's a little cat being printed under there somewhere. Sorry about my bizarre tripod movements. Better angle. These cases can also be printed. Virtually all of this printer can be upgraded. I intend on doing a few, like a fan that clicks on here that will cool the print bed, which gets extremely hot on long prints, which helps melt through the base, which is that problem that I just mentioned. These cases can be printed in any colour. They're actually motor fan cases. You can put a fan on them, I suppose, with all these holes. They get very warm, well, after they print for a while. There's also things like a spool holder that'll fit on the top of here, and this screen, which will slot there. But it'll use a hell of a lot of filament to upgrade this printer from cheap printer to an more expensive printer. But this printer is capable of actually upgrading itself, Terminator style. Machines building machines. So we're 4 minutes into this print. I can see something forming there. Cool. Adhesion seems good on this material, which is a key thing. There's adhesion, like stickiness. There's a big stickiness problem. If it doesn't stick the first layer, it'll completely screw up the entire print. You'll have to abort and you lose a load of plastic, which is never good. Fan inside sounds like it's a bit used though, so I'm going to think I'm going to need to inspect that soon inside of here. Because it sounds like there's something inside the fan. It's probably just a bit of, I don't know, bunny rabbit fluff or something. Oh, I see a cat's tail forming under there. Notice with printing PLA you get a sort of sweet sort of smell, because it's a starch-based plastic, believe it or not. So it's not too environmentally unfriendly, which is a good thing. Could do with a fan there, don't you think, right on that motor? Probably could print something to slot in here. That's if not what these slots are originally for. Intended upgrades that actually ain't present. Which sucks. And all these cables, look at them, all them cables. I don't like them exposed wires myself. Even though this is on the main load of wires. I could do better. You can print nice cable guards that look futuristic. So I think I'll do that. Let's have a look at the printing data. We've got the X, Y and Z axis there. Up, down, left and right. And you've got the fan, which is at 100%. On focus. There we go. 7 minutes into this print. I swore this print didn't take that long for this little cat. I have just recalibrated the printer, but I don't think that should affect the printing time. However, my printer is cold and that can. As it is a minimum operating temperature, I believe. You can see it fits on a pretty small garden base for one of those garden shelves. This isn't what it's in. I usually put it inside of a fish tank, which is keeps the printer hot because it gathers the heat up, which improves the print quality. You want a warmer air. It's not warm in Britain at the moment. That's what it looks like in Britain at the moment. Not warm. Yeah, well, that looked really boreal and green up there, didn't it? So, cat's coming along nicely. I can see a little tail there. Oh, should be a cat key ring. Printed these before, they come out really cool. But we will see. Got a massive kilo spool here, unnecessarily big, as you can see, compared to the size of the printer. It's pretty much the size of the printer, this spool here. Look at it, the scale. My hand, and I got big hands. But I can barely lift it. I couldn't even hold that with one hand. That's one big spool, of which I have used about half of, I'd say, about a pound of plastic, mostly on marine stuff. By that I mean like safety whistles and stuff for boating and kayaking and whatnot. come summer, which is where these machines can come in really useful for printing stuff that you could possibly lose to the sea if you're into water sports, that is. Cardiff's sort of a seaside town in Wales, even though it don't seem like it. You can see the little tail there, and all the layers which are printing very close together. It's nailed the level in there. Look at that, that's almost perfect. Definitely recommend releveling your print bed on printers, and this is the cheapest printer there is. Although, as I said, I will modify it. These spools are not cheap, they're about £15, which is about 15% of the value of these printers, which are £100 printers. They're actually really good though, and assembly was way easier than your more commercial ones. It costs about a couple of £100 and you have to build them yourself. This thing was like I had to literally click this unit on and connect up that, and it was ready to go. It was amazingly easy assembly. So do recommend this is what this calls the Easythreed X2 if you're interested in this printer for just starting off. I've been printing for a couple of months now though, and I'm still a beginner at this, but I do understand a lot about printers, even the coding, as it's just an Arduino really inside of here. Type of microcontroller. Wow, that cat's body is looking very, very clean. Look at that. Wonder what the head's gonna look like. Releveling this bed was a really good idea. Taking it off completely. So we re-level it with these leveling screws. Did I put the silica back in there? Yeah, I did. There's a bag of silica right underneath here, so it should dehydrate and centre out, hopefully. It's what I'm designed to do anyway. You can see the tail of that cat coming along now. Oh, this is a 12-minute print so far, or thereabouts. It does actually tell you there on that line. Printing from SD card at the moment. That's that thing there, like you have in your phone. You can use USB, where you need a different sort of software for a 3D printing app, called like Cura or Repeatia or something. There's various different ones. It's coming along awesomely. Curious to what it looks like, as it's been ages since it was brand new, this printer, since I've re-leveled it, and I've printed 1,000 things on it since. And it's doing well. Although there was an issue, this belt here come off underneath, as this, rotating back and forth like you see, shook the screws loose for the connecting linkage of this belt, and it completely come off, which completely screwed up a big print, which is not good when that happens, especially when it's something like that covers most of your print bed. Then you lose a lot of plastic. Sort of looks like carbon fibre, that stuff, but it isn't, even though you can buy the carbon fibre version of that. And it's done. Let's see what it looks like. Focus. There we go. Wow, look at that. Let's see how it releases off the bed, however, that's an issue. Will it just peel off like it should? Come on. Yep, indeed it will. And there's the little kitty cat. Aww, look at that. There's a little hoop on the top for a keyring hobble. You can barely see that because there's some of that sprue under there. Get that off. One hand. Oh, I could do it with one hand. Anyway, there you go. You can see the little hole now, that little triangle at the top. Oh, look at that. It's even got a face. And some eyes and little cute ears. Unlike my messed up hands. Covered in 3D printed burns. Anyway, look at that. Very clear resolution. Little tail also. Although the keyring holders are actually at the top. There's a little bit of sprue left on the base also. That's going to have to be peeled off. But, very successful print and re-leveling. So that's how to re-level the Easythreed X2 printer. Also a test print, which is pretty cool. Anyway, see you in the next video.